भाष्यादेशधारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna. Welcome everyone, and today we'll be discussing on this very special pastime from the Srimad Bhagavatam on the occasion of this festive season. We already celebrated Diwali and followed by Govardhan Puja. So there is this beautiful pastime of this Govardhan Lila, which comes in the Krishna Lila in the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. So we'll just go a little bit in the storyline, but we'll try to take some important lessons from this pastime, that why Krishna performed this particular pastime, why he lifted Govardhan. So there's multiple reasons. We'll just list out some of those reasons and we'll get into some of the details of some of the reasons that why Krishna did this pastime of lifting Govardhan. And I'm assuming that most of the participants here, they're quite familiar with what is this pastime and how Krishna lifted the Govardhan hill to protect all the devotees. So that is the first reason why Krishna performed this pastime. The simple reason is, as Krishna says, that Name Bhaktya Pranashyati. This is the promise of Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, that my devotee never perishes. So Krishna is always there to give the protection to his devotees. So that is the one reason why Krishna performed this pastime. We'll get into the details later. So to protect the devotees, that is one. Also another reason is Krishna always likes, he loves, he is very eager to glorify his devotees. So that is also another reason that Krishna wanted to glorify one devotee, and that devotee is Govardhan. And the Govardhan mountain is a great devotee. Now there is a sometime question on that this Govardhan mountain is a devotee or he is Lord himself. Is Krishna, because we worship Govardhan Puja day, and then in Vrindavan everybody worships. Some devotee, they worship the Govardhan Shila also. They keep in their house in the altar and they worship as good as like worshipping the Lord. So what is the understanding? It is a devotee or it is God himself? So Govardhan has been described in the Bhagavatam as Haridash Varya. Means he is one of the best devotee of Krishna. Hari Das, and Varya means the best among all the. So there's many devotees has been described with this name, Haridas Varya. Even Yudhishthir Maharaj is also described as Haridas. And then Uddhavji is described as Haridas. And then another devotee which has been used this with this title is Govardhan. And he is Haridas Varya. Varya means the best among all the devotees, Haridas. So yes, Govardhan is a devotee of the Lord, but also Govardhan is actually Krishna himself. Now, how is it possible that it can be a devotee, it can be God also? Is it possible? Yes, it is possible. And we can understand from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself, but in the form of his devotee. So Lord sometimes comes in the form of a devotee to teach that how a devotee should be. Right. So yes, answer is Govardhan Parvat. The Govardhan mountain is Krishna himself and also is one of the greatest devotee of Krishna. So another reason is, so the reason one is to give the protection to the devotees. Another reason is to glorify the devotee. And in this particular case, this devotee is Govardhan. So Krishna wanted to glorify Govardhan. Okay. And then another reason is to reciprocate with his devotees. So we see that scriptures explains Krishna can be worshipped in different rasas, in different moods. So majorly there are 5 prominent rasas in which Krishna has been worshipped: Shantaras, Dasharas, Sakyaras, Vatsalaras, and Madhuryaras. So there are different devotees in the different mood they worship the Supreme Lord. Some of them, they're like in a very neutral state. They worship, they glorify, they adore the Lord. And then some of them, they treat the Lord as their friend, Sakyaras. Some of them, they worship the Lord as their master. Some of them, they treat the Lord as their own child, like Yashoda Maya, Nanda Maharaj. and then some of them in a very intimate, loving relation. So in Vrindavan, all kinds of devotees you can see. But now, interestingly, all these different categories of devotees, there is a reciprocation, but different times, different devotees get the opportunity. Like when Krishna every morning when he goes for herding the cows as a cowherd boy, and he goes with his friends. So that time, all these devotees, all the friends of Krishna, they are in that Sakyaras, they're worshipping. But at that time, all other Vrajvasis, all the Vrindavanvasis, they're bereft of that seva. They're not able to see Krishna. They're not able to relate with Krishna. They're just waiting when Krishna will come back. So these devotees are enjoying all the friends, but the gopis are missing. Yashodama is missing Krishna. She is waiting when he'll come back in the evening. Now Krishna comes back in the evening, he goes home. Now these friends, they start missing Krishna. They start to wait like next morning. Again, we'll get the chance to go to the forest to, herd the cows. And that time Yashodama is expressing her, uh, the Vasalyaras. And like that, so all the devotees in Vrindavan, in all the rasas, they don't get the chance to constantly express their emotions. And they're constantly keep missing that, oh, that friends, they eagerly wait when morning will happen, will go. But all other devotees, they wait that, morning should delay. Because as soon as sun rises and then Krishna will go. So there is always that lack in the heart that. So Krishna understand because he is sitting in everyone's heart and he understand that devotees wants constant reciprocation. So he wanted to reciprocate by giving them this opportunity through this pastime, wherein all the devotees in all the rasas constantly for 7 days and 7 nights under the Govardhan hill, all the devotees were expressing their emotions. So we see that how when Krishna lifted the Govardhan, all the Brajvasis were there under the Govardhan. So now friends, they are in Dasharas. All the elderly gopis, they are in Vasalyaras. The younger gopis, they are in the Madhuryaras. And there are some devotees, they are in the neutral ras. Some of them, they are in the Dasharas like that. So everybody was just able to express their emotions constantly without any cessation or any hindrance for 7 days and 7 nights. So Krishna performed this pastime also. The another reason is to reciprocate the devotees. So to protect the devotees, to glorify the devotees, and to reciprocate with the devotees. 3 reasons. Another reason is Krishna wanted to teach a very important lesson through this particular pastime, that if somebody is worshipping me, then there's no need to worship anybody else. Krishna, as the Bhagavatam says, Yata taror mool nishechanena trapyanti tat skanda bhujobhajaga. Somebody is watering the root of the tree. If you're watering the root, uh, pouring the water in the root, then there's no point of, or there's no need of watering particular branch or leaves or fruits or flower. You just pour in the root, the entire tree will be nourished. So Krishna wanted to teach this, that those who are my devotees, they need not to worry about worshipping this demigod, that demigod, or something. There are 330 million demigods. So there's nothing wrong in worshipping them at one level. But Krishna is saying that if somebody is my devotee, then he need not to worry. He need not to worship any demigod. So he wanted to teach that lesson that one need not to worship the demigods. Okay. Another reason also Krishna wanted to teach through this particular pastime, that one should be very, very careful when we are, trying to move forward on this path of spiritual progression. Sometime it may happen that we progress, we become little advanced, and then there might be kind of a false ego. There might be proud that now I'm a great devotee. I've been practicing for so many years. I've read all the books. I memorized everything. I can quote anything. I can talk on any point, any subject. So there might be some proud. So Krishna is teaching through this example that look at these examples like Indra, not ordinary person, a great demigod, very, very powerful, very intelligent, very responsible, in charge of, the great responsibility in the cosmic administration. That person can also prone to make mistakes. So one should not falsely assume that now I know everything. So it is okay to be casual. We can never be casual in our spiritual practices. The scriptures warns us that walking on the spiritual path is like walking on the razor's edge. Like when you walk on a very sharp edge, then you have to be extremely careful. Little inattentiveness, then immediately there is cut and blood. So there is always a risk. So how careful one should be. So here there is example of this great demigod, Indra. Is also not ordinary person, a great devotee, but he became a little puffed up, became a little proud. And then Krishna wanted to teach him the lesson. So that is also, and we see that many such pastimes and examples. Even Indra is, of course, a great devotee. Even Brahmaji, who is the first created living entity, the creator, the secondary creator, Brahmaji got bewildered, right? So Krishna is teaching us through this example that even the Brahma and Indra, they themselves were not exempted. Then what about people like us? Every moment, like we are prone to fall. So how careful one should be. So that is also another reason that why Krishna performed this pastime. And also another lesson that we should learn from this pastime is that we might be a great devotee, we might be practicing, we might be doing a lot of seva, but even a small mistake can create the havoc in our spiritual path. See, this Indra is doing great service, rendering great service of taking care of one department in the cosmic administration, like he in charge of the rain, the water supply in the whole, you know, cosmic manifestation. But just little mistake at one point. And now we learn from this that we might be doing a lot of service, but if we are not careful, we are prone to do the mistake and just little mistake, then what happens? It can disrupt our seva. So here in this particular pastime, what happened? That Indra, he did a mistake. He felt little insecure. He became little puffed up. He became proud of his power. And that little mistake, which caused other devotees, he caused them to harm them. He attempted to harm them. And because of that, he has to be humiliated. So one should be very, very careful. So this is also another reason that a small mistake is also very, very dangerous. And especially now somebody might be wondering, oh, this is too risky then. Now we all do the mistakes and we are all trying sincerely to progress on our spiritual journey. And mistake to err is human. So we all can do the mistake. But if that is the case, little small mistake can disrupt our whole spiritual life, then what is the point? Right? But we have to understand very carefully. See, through this pastime only Krishna is teaching, there's a lot of hope in taking shelter of Krishna. Though he did a mistake, but Krishna at the end he forgave him. Krishna he did not approve, he disapproved, but he did not disown Indra. He did not say that now you are disqualified. You cannot do the seva anymore. Now you are no more Indra. He continued to be Indra. So Krishna is teaching that yes, we can do the mistake, but Krishna is very, very kind-hearted, very compassionate. So this pastime gives a lot of hope if we do the mistake. But at the same time, there is a warning also that if we do the mistake, and what kind of mistake? We can do a lot of mistakes, but there is one type of mistake which Krishna cannot tolerate. And that mistake is Vaishnava Aparadh. All other mistakes, sometimes, we do something amiss, you are doing some seva, some mistake happened in the seva and all of that. Krishna is Bhavagrahi Janardana. He take your good side. Whatever good you did in that, somebody say cooking for the Lord. So Krishna will take that, emotion of, oh, this devotee is working hard, cooking something. Say something went wrong in cooking. Some salt is more or less, or something taste is not good. Krishna doesn't mind that. That is a mistake. But Krishna will still accept your offering. So those kind of mistake Krishna doesn't really, care. But if somebody try to harm other devotees and Vaishnavas, Krishna says, I cannot tolerate that. Somebody try to, abuse me, Krishna says, I can tolerate that. But if somebody try to harm my devotees, it is absolutely intolerable, right? They say that when, I I use this analogy like sometime, when the hot summer season, when you walk on the hot sunlight, say in the afternoon, it's very hot, and you're walking bare feet. There's no chappal, there's no slippers. It's a very hot surface, right? So somebody can walk in the hot sun and you can tolerate the heat on the head easy comparatively. But to tolerate heat on the feet is more difficult. You can tolerate the heat for some time. If you have the chappal, something, you can still manage, but no slippers, and it is very hot. It becomes extremely difficult, right? So one can tolerate the heat on the head, but one cannot tolerate the heat on the feet. Krishna used the same principle. Says somebody comes and try to do something to me, it is like heat on the head. I can tolerate that, no problem. But if somebody try to abuse my devotee, harm my devotees, that is like tolerating heat on the feet. Because the devotees are always at the feet of the Lord. They're at the shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord. Krishna says, I cannot tolerate this. So Krishna is teaching through this example that this mistake cannot be tolerated. So one should be very, very careful. And these mistakes are like, like say, this example of somebody prepares the sweet rice, kheer, very nicely prepared, and you thicken the milk and very nicely it comes out. And at the end of the entire preparation, you'll add just one pinch of sand into that, some dust. Whole preparation is spoiled. You cannot say that, I made such a big quantity of kheer. Just little sand is okay. No, it is not okay. It will spoil the whole taste. So this kind of mistakes, this little mistake of, offending the Vaishnavas, trying to harm, trying to abuse them in any way, subtly or physically or grossly. Krishna says, I cannot tolerate. So Krishna wanted to teach the lesson. So like that, we can understand there's a lot of other lessons we learn through this pastime. Can go on, pointing out that, listing out that. But the story goes like this. We all know. I'll just briefly tell the story that how in Vrindavan, one time, when Krishna was a small child, still just like 6 or 7 year old, 7 year old, and then there's a lot of movement is going on, and everybody in Vrindavan is so busy, and Krishna comes like as a small child playing around, and he like wonders like what is going on here. Looks like everybody is so busy in some preparation, and now Krishna is actually the Supreme Lord, but in this particular pastime, he's acting like a child. So he tried to reach out to some of the people that what's going on, and nobody is just paying attention to him. It's like, we are all busy. The children are playing. They're unnecessarily disturbing, creating disturbance. So nobody is paying heed to him. And then he says, okay, let me just go to Nand Maharaj, my own father. He loves me and he will pay attention. And then Krishna goes to Nand Maharaj and asks that what's going on. And Nand Maharaj just briefly, explain. Then we are just busy with some preparations for this puja. And then he asks further, what puja, what kind of puja it is? And then he explains we have to do the Indra puja. Says, what is this Indra puja about? And then a lot of questions he asks. Generally, kids can't ask those kind of questions. But he asks that what is this Indra puja? Why you are doing this? It is mentioned in the scriptures. Or you are just following some tradition. Is there any reference in the scriptures? Like that, he keeps asking a lot of questions. So this Nand Maharaj try to, answer his questions. And then he explains. Briefly, he says that we are all cowherd community, Vaishya community. And our main business is this Krasi Goraksha Vanijam, that farming and taking care of the cows. So we are so much dependent. Our whole life is dependent on the rains. And then Indra is the god of rain. So it is very important for us that we worship Indra, and then Indra being pleased with our worship, he will send for the rain, and that is how we survive happily, and prosperity comes through the rains only. He explained. He thought, okay, now done. And Krishna asks another question. Start to philosophize. Krishna says, he counters actually. He says, what is the need of worshipping Indra? Because Indra is anyway in charge of the rains. It is his duty to send rains, whether you worship or not. What is the point of worshipping? Somebody is sitting on that post. They're supposed to do that seva. So why you have to worship something like that? It is like, some government officer is sitting as for some work. It is duty. Why you have to bribe someone? Like that kind of, philosophy Krishna is using there. And then Krishna started also using the philosophy which Krishna himself doesn't profess in Bhagavad Gita. And that philosophy is called Karma Mimamsa philosophy, which is very famous among, some of some section of people. But Krishna doesn't support that philosophy in Bhagavad Gita. But here Krishna is using this philosophy because he want to provoke. His intention is something else. So what Krishna is saying that ultimately you have to work hard, and if you work hard sincerely, you do your duties, then the cosmos will provide you. So there's no point of worshiping someone, praying to someone like that. You just work hard. So this is the philosophy. Like many materialistic people, just work hard. Do your duty, work hard, and everything will come. But that is not the philosophy of Bhagavad Gita actually. Hard work is just one of the element of getting the results. There are 5 factor of actions we read in Bhagavad Gita, and working hard is just one factor. But Krishna is using this philosophy now. So you just work hard, everything will come. What is the point like that? And then it was becoming very complex, conversation. Nanda Maharaj, he thought that it'll be easy, like to pacify the child, and he's asking a lot of questions. And finally, Krishna became very adamant. He said, no point of worshipping this Indra. We should rather worship Govardhan because we are dependent so much on Govardhan. Govardhan gives, such a nice fresh grass for our cows. Our cows goes there and they eat the grass. They give us the milk, and that is how we are all dependent on cows and the Govardhan. So why to worship Indra? We should worship Govardhan hill. So Nanda Maharaj, because he was very, very dear, like in Vrindavan, Krishna is very dear to everyone. So nobody knows how to say no to him. Like they have to say yes. So he is proposing now that worship Govardhan hill, not Indra. So Nanda Maharaj says, okay, no problem. We'll worship Govardhan hill also some other day. Let us complete this Indra Puja today. And we'll find some suitable, time, and then we'll arrange one more puja. He said, no, I'm not saying about additional puja. I'm saying there's no point of worshipping this Indra. Rather, whatever arrangement you have done today, now there's a big, elaborate arrangement has been made to worship Indra. And there's a lot of cooking and, a lot of things has been made, preparations. He says, use everything in the service of Govardhan. So they try to, pacify him, explain him, and then some more elderly people came. And they're concerned also that we can stop, like we have been doing this Indra Puja for many, many, generations like that. How we can suddenly speak like that, stop like that. But Krishna was very adamant. And this is the nature of Vrindavan, that they just get sold to what Krishna says. Though he's a small child. Now, who pays attention to what child is saying? But they were all got convinced. They say, okay, the child is saying now. So let us just worship now this Govardhan only today. No Indra Puja. Now you just think of that situation, it is not possible only. Like say we have been used to of worshipping in a certain fashion for like whole of your life, 30, 40 years. And suddenly, one day your child says, stop this and I'll tell you how to worship and what to worship. You don't care. And emotionally, and in so many ways, it is very difficult to accept that kind of a proposal. But here, they're so enchanted by whatever Krishna says, they agreed. And then uh, they started worshipping the Govardhana. So now this preparations, everything was brought to Govardhan. They put the big whole mountain of, rice and all the different sweets and so many savories, lot of preparation in front of Govardhan. Started singing, dancing, doing kirtans, offering, distributing prasadam and all of that. And the whole of Vrindavan was in that mood of that joy. Everybody was celebrating, everybody jumping, dancing, everybody so happy and congratulating each other and like that. They forgot everything. They're just into the zone now. They're enjoying. So while everybody is happy in Vrindavan, there's one person who was not at all happy about this, but very, very upset, very disappointed. What is this going on here in Vrindavan? Who is this? These people are like that. And who was that person? Indra got furious, not upset, got furious. First of all, is Indra is not ordinary person. He's a great demigod in charge. He's the king of heaven. And he has been receiving this worship from all these Brajvasis. Suddenly one day, one child, he comes and stops my service. What is this nonsense is going on? And then he was very disturbed, very upset, and he started to condemn and criticize Krishna. It can happen. Now, Indra is a great devotee of Krishna. See how, when the pride comes, how it covers your vision, how it covers your intelligence. You get clouded, you gets blocked. And then Indra is not just little disappointed or upset, but he goes on condemning and criticizing Krishna, forgetting who is this Krishna. And he uses this word. He says, Vachalam balisham stabdham ajnana panditamanina. Krishna martyam upashritya gopame chakrur apriyam. So he says, who is this boy? Vachalam. Vachalam is like talkative. Simply just talking something. Some kids are like, keep talking something. So he's saying, who is this boy? Who is the child? Vachalam. Balisham. Balisham is like bacha. A small child, too talkative. And then stabdham. Stabdham means, so arrogant without understanding what he's doing and simply talking something. Agyam. Agyam means doesn't know anything, no knowledge. He is arrogant without knowledge. Vachalam, Balisham, bacha, an arrogant bacha, and talkative bacha. Like that, he is talking about Krishna. And he says, Pandita Manina. And he's talking as if he's a great Pandit. He knows as if he knows everything and giving the knowledge to everyone what they should do. Krishna Mratyam Upashritya. And how foolish all this Vrindavan, all this Brajvasi is that they're taken Upashritya. They're taken the shelter of the childish boy, like talkative boy, who is Mrityam. Mrityam means one who is the mortal being of this world. So some ordinary child talking something. These people are so foolish. They are listening to him. So he was like that. He was condemning Krishna like that. So here there's a lot of lessons we can learn that how, though Indra was a great devotee, very, very intelligent, not ordinary person. But when the pride comes, if you're not careful, then you can even go to the extent of condemning your own master, the Supreme Lord. Right? And that is what the Indra did here, the mistake here. And he started feeling very insecure that these people has been worshipping me. Now no more worship. What is this going on? So he started feeling insecure. So Shastra says that insecurity is the product of immaturity. Why we feel insecure when we don't understand that what we really deserve. So you might deserve something, but if the Lord is there, the Supreme Lord is there, what we deserve? We deserve to serve Him only. So if somebody is going and serving the Lord, then what we deserve in front of that, we should also go and participate in serving the Lord. So when that immaturity is there, then there is the insecurity comes. Right. So another lesson that we should learn that Indra, though he is the devotee of Krishna and all the power, positions, everything was given by Krishna. And why it was given? To do the seva. Some seva is assigned to him. In the cosmic administration, Indra has to play a role. Now, Indra in itself is not powerful. All the powers come from Krishna. Krishna is the source. So similarly, in a devotee's life also, to do the seva, sometimes some power, some position is also given to devotees. And it is very much part of doing the seva. If Indra has to be the king of the heaven, then he should be empowered. He should be given the power and position, and he is to rule and he is to command. So sometimes devotees are also given all this power and positions, but we should never forget that why all these things are given to me. If we forget that purpose of why these things are given to me, then you start becoming intoxicated by that power and that position. Because along with this power and position, there's a lot of other things also comes. In a position, a lot of respect will come. Right? So we should always remember that this respect is not for me. It is given to me. My master has put me in this position, and that is why people are coming and respecting me. I personally don't deserve this. So in the devotee's life, a lot of lessons to learn from this. That many times devotees, somebody like a little senior, and people will come, they show the respects. So we should remind ourselves that all these respects is not for me. It is for my Lord. Lord has empowered me. He has given me all these things. So I should be careful. So Indra became, so used to of receiving all this worship and respect and all of that. And forgot that it is given by the Lord to me. I don't deserve. And then he became intoxicated. It became power hunger, hunger for respect. So devotee should be very, very careful. There might be times when everybody comes and show the respects. They saying Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Mandaji, something like that. They'll bow down. They'll show the respects. Devotee should be very, very careful. That as it is coming, just pass on. Remember, remind ourselves. And this is for Guru and Krishna, not for us. So like that. So he became little hungry of all this. And that is where when somebody becomes the hungry of all these things, then that person is prone to get devastated, disheartened, disappointed. Because the nature of this world is the person who is respecting you today, the same person may disrespect you tomorrow. This is how this world is, right? People, those who love you the most, many times, in many cases, they turn out to be the worst enemies. That is the nature of this world. So one should be very, very mature. Don't, when something is given to us, just take it, that it is coming by Krishna's grace. Don't get attached and, so demanding that I should get that. You may not get that too, right? So that is what is the real intoxication. The real intoxication doesn't come from external sources, that somebody is intoxicating, somebody is drinking alcohol, some wine and something like that, smoking. No, that intoxication can still be handled. But there is another very dangerous intoxication is there. And that intoxication is our Acharya's guides, Puja Pratishtha Labha. That we demand, we ask for this appreciation, glorification, recognition and all of that. Practically everyone in this world, most of the people, they are driven by all those things. If I did something, people should recognize. If I did something, people should glorify me. They should appreciate me. And if you become intoxicated, then there is a danger. That is the real intoxication. It may disappoint us, may dishearten us, devastate us, right? And here we see that how, if we are not careful, then how we can get devastated and what extent this intoxication can take one. We'll see that what Indra did because he was disrespected. And also another thing that we should learn, okay, I'll come to that a little later. And that ego, how the ego gets hurt. We have been receiving worship. Indra has been receiving the worship for all so many years. Suddenly it is stopped. His ego is hurt. And when it comes to ego, person becomes mad. He don't understand then. He lose the sense of discrimination. And now what I should do and what I should not do. What is the right thing and what is inappropriate thing. So that is why one should be very, very careful. The nature of ego is like that. The nature of ego is like honey. Honey is very sweet. Everybody likes that to taste. Whenever somebody comes and glorifies you, appreciates you, it is like honey, nectarian. Oh, so nice, so nice. People are just glorifying me, respecting me, and all of that. But if honey is taken too much, then honey is also like intoxication. So little bit is okay, but also when little bit, we should pass on. We should always remember that I personally don't deserve this, right? So that is how, this is what is the sign of maturity. Mature people, they have inner fulfillment. They don't have insecurity. They don't really look for always that external conformity, that I did something, now people should come and clap for me, appreciate me, glorify me, recognize me. Then only I'll feel satisfied. Otherwise, all my endeavors are gone in vain. The mature people, they just do their duties and they're happy with that, whether people come and appreciate or not. That is the sign of, especially the spiritual maturity. We remember, we remind ourselves that I have done my service and just look back and check that I have done my best with best of my ability. After that, people are recognizing or glorifying or not, it is okay. So like that, we should understand. Okay. Okay. So one thing is also another important lesson is that when we do the seva, what we should seek in the seva. We all come to the temple or in whatever way we try to do the seva. So what we should seek as a result of seva. When you do something, you want something done. What we should want. So Indra is teaching here all those things. Then when we do seva, sometimes we seek the recognition. I did seva. Somebody, at least one person should come and say, nice seva, Prabhuji. Very good, we are very happy. Then you feel like, chalo, happy, satisfied. Somebody is talking, somebody has seen. Sometimes people, continue to do seva. That somebody should come and at least see, and then after that only I go. Nobody has seen so far. So these are all our conditioning. These are all very deep rooted things. And the Bhagavatam is like a mirror. It shows us our real face. Sometimes you might think, oh, I'm a great devotee. I've been chanting. I've been going to temple. I've been doing this. I'm attending all the classes. And I read Bhagavad Gita. I already finished and so many things. And we might be in the illusion. And yes, looks like I'm a great devotee. But when we start reading all these pastimes, and then we figure out, it show you the real picture, right? There was this one person who was very expert in talking in multiple languages. Very, very expert. He was a linguist, very expertly in any language, like multiple language, very fluently. You cannot make out what is real mother tongue. So they're wondering, like, people were confused in that, what is his real language? So he was in that kingdom, and then king asking, who is this person? And he speaks so fluently all the language. I want to understand that what is the real language. So the minister is say that is a easy job. I can figure out in no time. You give me just 2 days. You know. So he says, okay, take 2 days and figure out. So this minister, very smart minister, very intelligent. One day he goes and then this person who was like linguist, he was sitting and doing something like fully focused, absorbed some work he was doing, and no disturbance. And he very silently sneak in, and this minister and goes and hit him from the back nicely. And as soon as he hit him, he shouts, some like you rascal, something like that, in that abusive language, and he's outside in that particular language. What was his mother tongue? Because sometime, you know, you can make up yourself as like I am, English speaking person or some like different language. So now here we are not talking about the actual language, but the body language. In front of people, you can make a show of, no, I'm like this. And people say, what this person is like. And it is, looks like very great devotee, very nice devotee, very humble devotee, very helpful, very kind, very compassionate, different languages. But the real language comes when there is a situation of adversity, when there is a provocative situation. That is when your real mother tongue will come out, right? So we all are like, everything is going nice in our life. Every Saturday evening, we'll go to the temple. Nicely, nice hall is there, AC is running. We'll sit nicely on the chair, and we'll take one mala, chant Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Some Prabhuji will come, he'll give some nice lecture. We'll hear after that nice prasadam. Wonderful, we are all great devotees. But the real character, the real nature comes out when there is a provocative situations. That is when we'll understand that what is my real nature, what is my real language, what language we speak. Right. We that time also we remember Krishna. We speak the same language. Krishna, please help me. Krishna, please guide me. Or we get into some other zone. Right. So here Indra was put in this provocative situation. Indra was provoked, and Krishna consciously did that. Because Krishna's promise is Name Bhaktya Pranashyati. My devotee never perishes. Why? Krishna says that because Krishna loves all the living entities, and especially devotees, he has a very special affection. So he want to protect. So now this protection of devotees can happen in two ways. Here in Govardhan Lila, what is happening is, we know that how when this Indra was provoked and he was furious, and then he lost the sense of discrimination. Why? Because he was looking for recognition, and that recognition was not given. So in the seva, one should not seek the recognition. One should seek only the participation. Seva opportunity is given, I'm happy with that. That's all. So this Indra, through this example, we are learning here that Indra was provoked. And why Krishna wanted to do that? Because Indra was becoming little proud about his position. So many times when devotees, they start to forget, and they start becoming puffed up and proud about certain things in their life, which is originally given by Krishna only, but they start to forget all of that. That is when Krishna, you know, intervene in devotee's life and try to help the devotee. So here we see that Krishna kind of humiliate Indra, but actually by doing that, Krishna is actually helping and protecting. Says that I cannot see because pride comes before fall. So Indra is a great devotee. Now he's becoming so proud, and that will cause his fall down. So I had to do something about it. So that is why that is also one of the reason that Krishna performed this particular pastime. Right. So like that we can understand here a lot of lessons. Indra, many times, this question comes. Some people, many times people ask, looks like this Indra, we say is a demigod. Demigods are devotees. But this Indra, he's acting like a demon, attacking on other devotees and all of that. And it's very interesting to note that it is not like first time some problem is there for the Vrindavan Vasis. Before this Govardhan Lila, there's many different demons had been sent by Kamsa, Putna, Trinavrata, Agasur, and so many. And they try to cause some harm to the devotees in Vrindavan. But now, if you see the proportion of the damage which Indra caused, it is not even equal to, not even equal, it is not even close to any the damage that is caused by any demon. The demon came, they tried to attack on Krishna, and along with some friends or something like that. And Krishna will deal with it. But here you see what Indra did. He decided to devastate the whole of Vrindavan. Practically everyone in the whole of Vrindavan, he wanted to finish them. So who can cause this amount of damage? Indra did. And who is Indra? Indra is a devotee. He is not titled as a demon. So now this is also another very important lesson, as Prabhupada says. Prabhupada mentioned in one place. Prabhupada says, in our movement, this Krishna consciousness movement, nobody can harm this movement because it is based on the philosophy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Nobody can harm this movement from outside. If there is any danger for this movement, danger is from inside. If devotees are not careful, then they can cause more damage to the Lord, to the Lord's mission, like that. So here we see this Indra is a great devotee, but if devotee is not careful, how much damage he can create. He can create the havoc. So one should be very careful that we are in a very, we are on a path which is like walking on the razor's edge. Very careful. A small, little inattentiveness, cut and blood. We can disrupt our spiritual life. We can cause harm to other devotees, and that will result in, displeasing the Supreme Lord. So these are all the dangers that we can understand here. Okay. So another lessons, we can go on driving a lot of lessons. Another very important lesson is when we do the seva, there are three things in a seva. One is the seva, which is given to us. One is the sevya. Sevya means the object of that seva, to whom you are offering the seva. That is called sevya. Sevya means the Bhagwan, the Lord, to whom you are offering the seva. So the seva is important, sevya is important, and third thing is sevak. Sevak is who is offering the seva. So among all that, seva is important and sevya is also important. The Supreme Lord is important. Sevak is not that important. We should not become too conscious of, oh, I am the special sevak. And so it may happen sometime that we become too conscious about the sevak more than the seva and the sevya. But devotee means he should think of that seva is important. Whether I do this seva or somebody else do this seva. Sometime, there might be some kind of a competition in the sevas. That there are some sevas which are like in limelight, where everybody sees you. Some sevas like somewhere in the back. You're washing some vessels, nobody's seeing you. So naturally, as a conditioning, you want to be in the limelight, right? And that seva is given to somebody else. So no, I want to do this seva. This is my seva. No, it is not that your seva or somebody's seva. Seva is important. who's doing seva is not much important. So anybody can do the seva. So here, what is happening is this Indra is forgetting. Indra is also doing the seva only to Krishna as being the Indra. But now that seva, these Brajvasis are doing to Krishna in this Govardhan Parvat. Right? The seva is happening to Krishna. But now he's saying, oh no, I am important. So that is where all this problem happens. And then this is very, very subtle thing. With a change of seva, if your attitude changes, then this is the sign that that was not a seva. That was, what do you say, feeding your ego. If somebody is truly engaged in seva and really want the seva, then they would say that any seva is okay for me. Either you ask me to be in limelight, you ask me to broom, mop, clean something, I'm happy to do the seva. But there's a little difference, little change in the seva, and my enthusiasm lacks. It means I was not attached to the seva. I was attached to my ego. Because somewhere that seva was feeding my ego. I'll give you an example of this. Example is very nice of this Hanumanji. We know the two major episodes. One is the Ramayana. So in the Ramayana, Hanumanji was the hero, right? One of the hero that Hanumanji lifted the mountain and a lot of major things Hanumanji did. So there the Lord decided, okay, in this particular seva, Hanumanji will be the hero, man of the match. Hanumanji did that happily. Now there's another Lila happens when Lord comes as Krishna. And now there is another episode is happening where there is a battle in the Kurukshetra. Right? What is happening there? In the Kurukshetra, who is the man of the match? Arjuna, not Hanumanji. But was Hanumanji there in the Kurukshetra? Yes, Hanumanji was also there. Where he was? He was sitting in the back of the chariot in the back seat. He was not sitting in the chariot on the back seat. He was sitting on the top of the chariot on the flag. Right? Like nobody will see you there. But that is your seva. And Hanumanji was given the seva where you do nothing. Just keep sitting on the flag and just keep, waving. That's all this seva is. Not doing anything. Now the person who has been the hero at one time in one festival, and next festival, you just sit in one corner. You feel like, hey, what is this? Like there's no respect. What is this? I was the hero, you forgot what and all I did. So that is what, but Hanumanji was equally enthused. There was no change in his attitude. He happily accepted, okay, if you make me the man of the match or man of the flag, whatever, I'm happily sitting there. Hanumanji, what he was doing in between, then they're fighting, he will shout, he will roar, and he will just scare the opposite party. That's all he was doing. Sitting and shouting in between sometime. That's all. And now hero is Arjuna. So sometime it may happen that in some time we are given the save in the temple where we become like the hero, not the man of the match. Other time, they'll ask you, okay, go on the flag. Nobody will see you there. So that time we feel terrible. We feel like, oh, what is this? No important service is given to me. Nobody will see me. It means we should understand that it was not a seva attitude. It was feeding my ego. When I was in the limelight and I was thinking, I'm so enthusiastic, I'm so ecstatic, everybody like I'm doing with a lot of, Josh, the seva. That Josh was not coming from the seva. It was coming from feeding the ego. So these are all very subtle things that we learn from the scriptures, how careful one should be on our spiritual path. So like that, here Indra is showing all that. Right. Okay, I will just close in just few minutes. I can go on telling a lot of lessons like that. But these are all wonderful lessons. So Indra's ego got hurt, and then what happens? He decided, okay, I cannot tolerate this. I have to do something about it. And then Indra called for this clouds, the clouds of devastation. They're called Samvartaka cloud. And he goes orders them that go and devastate the whole of Vrindavan. And then all the clouds came on Vrindavan and then started pouring. And in just no time, the entire Vrindavan was inundated with water. There's a devastation. And what they did, all the Brajvasis, Now, this is very important lesson. All the Vrajvasis, as soon as they saw there is a danger, immediately they started calling out, Krishna, 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 please help us, please save us. Now, there is a little background to this. Background is why this situation is coming, because they accepted Krishna's proposal. So, what we will do? We'll first condemn. It's because of you. Look at that, what happened. We told you, don't talk too much. You only talking. So you will not ask the help. You will just kind of reject that person. Say, get lost. Don't open your mouth ever again. But here, the Vrajvasis, they don't care. It is all because of Krishna only they're facing this. And again, they are going to Krishna. That is what their devotion is. So what happens? Sometimes, a lot of good things are happening. You say, oh, Krishna, thank you, Krishna, thank you, Krishna. Some, that the rains of devastation comes in our life. And we say, Krishna, what you're doing sitting there? I'm chanting daily. I'm doing this. Where are you? No more Krishna. We have to find some other Baba who will give us some solution. See, we reject Krishna only. But here, Vrindavan Vasis are actually all these devotees. They're teaching. Maro bhi rakho bhi jo ichha toha. As Bhaktivinoda Thakur sings, whatever your ichha, maro bhi rakho bhi. If you want to, protect me or you want to devastate me, nitya prati dasa toha. I'm always your servant only in all situations. That is what is the real devotion that we should learn. So we are learning from this all Brajvasis. And then now all that happened, and then finally Krishna has to get into action. Krishna says, no worries, I'll just do something. I'm just going like very brief now. Fast forward. So Krishna immediately lifted the Govardhan hill. And then he indicated, all of you, please come under this. Now you need a lot of courage to come under the Govardhan hill. See, we all know the stories, but if you start, visualizing that story, you'll see it is not easy. Like a small child, first of all, nobody could, conceive that, like how the child lifted, everybody like stuck under with that, which is okay. Now he's saying, okay, all of you come under. Say it is better to, die in this water than, getting crushed under this. Small child is lifting whatever, like it slips off. What will happen? Chutney ban jayega, something like that. But with no second thought, immediately they just went. That is the kind of dependency that one should have. See, intellectually, you cannot be convinced. Yeah, this child lifted, and what if a lot of logic you will apply? What if it slips off? How long will be able to lift it? How long will be standing there? All this logic comes, and then you fail. You can never get into under Krishna's shelter. So sometimes people start applying all the logic too much. But the one logic is simplicity of heart. Just be simple at your heart. The more the devotee is simple, he's a nice devotee. We get blocked by all intellectual abilities, logical abilities, reasoning, and all that. Right. So this Vrindavan Vasis, Krishna come, they came, and they're happy. And again they forget everything. They started celebrating under the Govardhan hill. So that is what is the commemoration of this Govardhan Puja that we celebrate. That Krishna lifted this Govardhan hill. Now all the Vrindavan Vasis, and a lot of details are there. We are not getting into all those details now. But the point is, no water was coming under that Govardhan. Now you say that all around the whole city was inundated with water. If you lift something, all the water will come there only. It was not coming. Krishna's arrangement. Sheshnag was protecting, and there was no harm. This Indra was sending all this, thunderbolt and everything. Nothing was happening because Sudarshan was there on top, and everybody was just enjoying for 7 days and 7 nights because Krishna wanted to reciprocate and fulfill the desires of all his devotees because they wanted to constantly see him because they're not getting time. 24 hours, there was no opportunity for any of them. So Krishna fulfilled their desire now. To their heart contents, they could see. And different devotees standing there and looking at Krishna, and every single devotee they're feeling, Krishna is looking at me. That is also another mystery of Krishna. He did that magic. It is not possible like somebody will be facing Krishna, somebody will be at the back. But every single devotee was feeling there, Krishna is looking at me. They're thinking like personal reciprocation with Krishna. Krishna can do that. And that is why Krishna is God. Right. So all, the friends, they are again in the Sakya Bhav. They're only in that mood only. They're not understanding Krishna lifted. Say, let us know if you need some help. We can also help you. You get tired. They're putting their, sticks and just help. They're in that mood only. And Yashoda Mai in the Vasaleva, she's constantly getting worried. Oh, look at my small child, he'll get tired. How he's lifting? She's crying out of that, motherly affection. How he can lift? He might get tired and he's not eating anything. Every day I feed him like 8 times in a day. So much pampering. Now, so many days, 7 nights, and no feeding. What will happen? He'll become weak and like that. She's not thinking that it may slip off, but her concern is only he's not eating. And like that, different people. So a lot of reciprocation is going on in the devotees, and there's a joy of celebration. This is going on there, right? So this is Vrindavan. When Krishna is there, then what's going outside, there might be devastation. But if you are focused on Krishna, then it doesn't impact you. The reality is, yes, the devastation is there outside, but you are not getting impacted. So that is what is the guarantee that Krishna gives. Krishna doesn't say that just because you become devotee, there will no problem in your life. Says you'll not be impacted by all those problems. There might be still, some rains and pouring clouds and all of those. It happens in our life. But Krishna is guaranteeing if you become fixed up on me, then you'll not be impacted. And then he showed by this example that all these devotees, they are just enjoying, celebrating, and like that, no hunger, no thirst for 7 days, 7 nights. They forget thirst and hunger and everything. They are just so satisfied by looking at Krishna. And then finally, this Indra came to the senses. The long story short, he came to the senses, what is this going on? And then he realized his mistake. Oh my God, such a big blunder I have done. I did not realize the position of my Lord. He is my Lord. He came to the senses. Now he was terrified. He was frightened. Now how to go, how to face Krishna. There was no water. All the water was dried up in his clouds. No devastation. And then finally, Krishna, uh, left. Sorry, Krishna said, okay, everybody just walk out. And finally, he put this one back. Right. And then Indra came there. And then Indra goes to Brahmaji first. And he asked them, Brahmaji, I had done such a mistake. So many times it happens, like, we do the mistake and we feel terrified, like how to face now this devotee, how to go in front of them. So sometime when we are put into that situation, we kind of lose the confidence to face some devotee because we did some mistake. Then we should take the help of some other devotees. They can help us. So Indra goes to Brahmaji, and then Brahmaji says, okay, no problem. Krishna is very kind, he'll forgive you. You go to Krishna, take Survi cow along with you. So let the cow go in front, and then you walk behind. That will pacify Krishna because Krishna is God Brahman in the nature. He loves the cows. So then Indra silently comes with the Surbi cow, and then Krishna sees the cow. Krishna was cooled down, and Indra comes and bowed down to Krishna. And then he offers the prayers, and he understands and he begs forgiveness. And Krishna also gives the hope through this that, okay, you did the mistake. I taught you the lesson learned. Just be careful. Don't do all this again and continue your seva. So Krishna did not disown Indra. He allowed him to continue the seva. So that's the hope for the devotees, right? And after that, all these Vrindavan Vasis, they were so happy. Mother Yashoda and all the elderly gopis, their only chinta is Krishna did not eat for 7 days, 7 nights. So we had to do something about that. So that is when they made the Chappan Bhog. Because 8 times Yashodama used to feed Krishna. So 7 days he did not eat. So they did all the calculations, 7 into 8 offerings for 7 days, 56 offerings. And that is where the Chappan Bhog ka concept, now it is very famous. Everybody talks about Chappan Bhog. So that concept of Chappan Bhog came, and then they made the whole big Annakut, and there's a whole celebration, and everybody, like, they made a lot of items in great quantity and then offered to the Lord. And that is how this Govardhan Puja has been celebrated. Also famous as Annakut, that we all do this. So this is the great significance, and a lot of lessons can be learned from this. So we'll pause here in the interest of time here. We'll just take 1 or 2 questions. And after that, we'll chant one round of Hare Krishna mantra. And then we'll also invite all of you to join us for this special arti we'll be doing now. This Damodar Astakam Arti. We'll start in few minutes after the chanting. It's a very, very special month, Kartik month. And offering the ghee lamps to the Lord is very, very auspicious during this month. So we'll be giving you the ghee lamp. Okay, some 1 or 2 questions here. I see some questions here. Let me see if I can quickly take one or two question. Okay, neutral rasa. So what is shant rasa? Shant rasa means like, the trees and the plants, they're also rendering the service, but they are in a very shant bhav. They're not like very actively doing anything, but still they are also serving Krishna. That is shant rasa. How does Krishna counter argue with Nanda with reason when Nanda Maharaj says that hard work along with God's mercy is required to guide? Krishna need not to counter all these arguments and all that. Krishna is Krishna. Krishna can convince. So it is not by that he win all those things by his logics, but they were all enchanted by Krishna's beauty, and after that, then no logic works. Okay, doesn't Krishna also say in this Lila that one should not pray to God with a fear feeling that one will be punished? She doesn't worship God. Yes, that is the understanding of Bhagavad Gita, that is the teaching. And that, of course, there's nothing wrong in worshipping the God with fear also, but that is not the best thing to do. But it is nothing wrong. Like, it is not right and wrong, but this is about good and best. It is good to worship even with the fear, but it is not best. At least somebody who is not worshipping, let them worship with fear. So there are different motivation to worship the Lord. There might be some desires, there might be some fear, there might be duty, the sense of duty, and then the highest is considered as the sense of love. So loving devotional service is the highest thing. Okay. Now the devotees, it recommended that should never be appreciated for their service or ask others to not appreciate them. No. There are two things that devotee, there are two principles. One principle what we are talking is that uh, we should not hanker for recognition. But there is another principle given in the scriptures that devotee should glorify the Vaishnavas. Now this is a very tricky situation. If somebody is doing the service, I should go and appreciate. This is a culture that I should cultivate, because in this material world, everybody is so egoistic. Somebody is doing good, my ego comes, hey, what is this? We try to condemn the person. So there is an instruction for others that when somebody does the seva, we should appreciate their seva. But then there is instruction for the person who is receiving the appreciation and how to receive that appreciation. One should not get intoxicated by all those things. And also remind yourself that all this appreciation, this glorification, recognition, it is coming by God's grace. I personally don't deserve all this. So that is how we should understand all of those things. Okay, maybe I think one more last question. So there's a lot of questions. So I'm just respecting Mataji's typing, long typing. So if I disregard, then okay, I'll just read out quickly. Demigods are also devotees of Krishna. Then when Krishna asks for not worshipping demigods, wouldn't that imply negatively? Okay, now this is that in itself is a great topic. Big topic, whether one should worship demigods or not. Demigods means Devata. So this pastime is teaching, Krishna is teaching, if you are worshipping me, then no need to worship anybody else. Right. But it should be this concept should be understood very carefully under the right light of the scriptures. It's not like that Krishna is condemning that you should not worship Devata. Krishna is saying if you are worshipping me, then there's no need to worship anybody else. But if somebody who doesn't worship anyone, you start worshipping from someone, from somewhere. So it is like that. Those who are atheistic people, those who doesn't believe, those who doesn't worship, so okay, start worshipping someone at least. Because Krishna says, Sarva Dharman Parityaja Mamekam Sharanam Raja. That is the final conclusive teaching of Bhagavad Gita. Finally, surrender everything unto me. That is what is the Krishna's last instruction in Bhagavad Gita. Full surrenderance. Full surrender means Krishna only, nobody else. But to come to that level of full surrenderance, it's a gradual progression. It's a journey. So you start your journey from somewhere. You cannot suddenly ask someone that who is nowhere and you say now fully surrender to Krishna. It doesn't work like that. So at least start surrendering to someone, worshipping someone, and gradually you progress, and then you come to the level of complete surrender to Krishna. Okay, last question. The Bhagavatam 10th canto ends in the chapter 13 only. The Govardhan Lila is explained in 24th chapter. Okay, I could read story in Krishna book, find text and purports, wondering where I can find them. Yeah, so Prabhupada has given us a lot of explanation in the Krishna book, so we can read that, and then we can, once you are done with all that reading, a lot of things which is written by Prabhupada, we can read that. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, you will find a lot of details and descriptions. In the Bhagavatam also you'll find. Once we are done with that, then we can guide you for the next step and how to go forward. Okay. Thank you everyone for joining in, and now we'll be chanting one round of Hare Krishna mantra.